Hey everyone, it's Bobby from Lyco Birds, and today I wanted to do a quick mini field trip type video about SGL 252 in southern Lycoming County, Pennsylvania. So this will cover about a 3-mile walk over the course of about 2.5 to 3 hours, and you can see from the habitat photo, it's mostly some low brush on both sides of the path and some medium height trees, and a good at least 2 to 2.5 miles of that is similar habitat to this. Or in this section, you can see there's a lot less of the trees there, and it's more just low brush with scattered taller trees. And the weather was fairly nice. It was fairly calm winds, and temperature is probably in the 60 degree area for the start, and maybe a little warmer than that by the end. And it did clear up quite a bit by the end. You can see the sun was out, and it was pretty nice for the last maybe 45 minutes. Overall, there were some very productive patches, some really big mixed flocks. And then there were stretches where it was fairly quiet. So overall, there were 16 species of warbler, and you're not going to get too much better than that in central Pennsylvania. So I was pretty happy with the outcome. We also had a few notable species, which I'll get to in a minute. So let's start with some of the birds. This is a Lincoln sparrow. We can tell that by the buffy base color to the chest and flanks with the fine streaking, and kind of this buffy malar area and buffy eye ring. You can see a couple more angles of this bird. It was not terribly cooperative, but given that it is September 13th, that's a tad bit early for this area to be getting Lincoln sparrows. So this is just on the early edge of the migrants. And here's another one of the notable species. It might be a little tricky to tell exactly what it is from this angle, but if I switch to this angle, you can see it's a Vireo. It has that very yellow, or kind of a dark yellowish orangey throat. That the color is most concentrated in the throat, and the dark lores here. So this is a Philadelphia Vireo. And you can see he was involved in a fairly sizable mixed flock, mostly red-eyed Vireos that it was associating with. But it was a pretty active flock, and they probably moved around for about 10 minutes and very active in the trees around us. So that was fun to watch. And you can see this guy catching a bug there. And then this is a flycatcher. You can tell by the upright posture. And you can see the front here looks very yellowish, pretty much the whole thing. So this is actually a yellow-bellied flycatcher. And despite the name, the yellow belly is not really what you want to be looking at all. Any of the related empid species can show a yellow belly. So on this one, we will actually want to be looking at the color of the throat. So it's maybe not the best name for the species, but the field mark you want to look at really is the throat and the level of contrast in color between the throat and the belly, basically. So you can see on this one, they're basically the same color, and the bird's just overall very yellow. So this is a yellow-bellied, and you can really see it here, how yellow the throat is. On a least flycatcher, which is probably the most similar, the throat would be more of a white color and more contrasting with the belly in particular. You can see the kind of the chest area is not always yellow. Often that will have kind of a dusky color to it. So it's really the throat color you're looking at. And then a few warbler shots. So if you're unsure of what this one is, can zoom in a little bit, and you can see with this eye ring, kind of the yellow above the lower area there, and this very faint necklace. This is a Canada warbler. And you'll see like the adult males will have a much stronger necklace than this, but a lot of the females will have a lot fainter necklaces. And it's always a good time to practice some accipiter identification. So with the long tail and kind of the short wings, you can tell this is either a Cooper's hawk or a Sharpshinned hawk. And this one with the very compact proportions, you have kind of the barring here in the flank area. The wings almost make this S-shaped curve to the trailing edge. The tail, the outer tail feathers are about the same length. Often on this species, you'll see a little bit of a notch in the middle, although that's not necessarily always true. And tiny head. So this is a Sharpshinned hawk. And this is actually, I think, the first one I've seen this fall. So probably a little late for me to be seeing my first one of the fall. But in any case, here's another angle, and you can really see the compact shape of the Sharpshinned hawk. And this warbler is appropriately named black and white warbler. This is more of the female type plumage, so it's a little more white than the adult males are. And we will conclude with one more warbler species that might be a little bit tricky, but in this light, it actually makes it fairly easy to tell what it is. You can see kind of this slightly darker color here in the head and neck that wraps around, and this is actually a hooded warbler. So if you are familiar with the adult male plumage, it has a much darker hood here, but this is basically just a faint version of that. So I hope you enjoyed this mini wrap up field trip for SGL 252, and please give the video a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also follow Like a Birds on Facebook for daily ID quizzes and other bird content. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.